And we're back. Welcome to Chronicles of Power, a podcast dedicated to the world of power. I'm your host, Keemie. And today we have the Castillo Brothers with us. Clap it up, clap it up. Woo-hoo! You can clap for yourself. It's okay. So today we are going to be talking about their time at Power within Ghosts and then what they have possibly coming up in the future. So first things first, let's all introduce ourselves. So we know who this guy is directly to my left. But did you guys know that there were three other brothers? I actually didn't know that there were three other brothers till like episode 6. I'm sorry. But now we know. We know now. But let's first introduce Eric.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Eric Hernandez. I play Gordo Castillo in the show.
Okay, next up.
What's going on? I'm Cesar Reyes. I play Guillermo Castillo.
Andrew Casanova. I play Alberto Castillo, not Gilberto.
Yeah. You got to put some spice on the language here.
Michel Vidal. I play Gustavo Castillo.
And also, I should let you know that Gustavo and Gilberto.
Gilberto, that's fine.
No, Gilberto.
Gilberto.
They are twins in the show. They didn't tell us this, but they are supposed to be twins in the show, and there's about like a 2-foot height difference between them. But I mean, you know, that can happen with fraternal twins.
Yeah.
It's kind of different, but
Right.
it does happen.
I'm the better looking one.
Oh,
Clearly.
yeah. Let's take a vote, guys. What do you think? But I do want to start off with the very first question that I normally ask people, because I want to get to know you, is where are you from?
Oh.
What do you do? Like, what did you do before coming to Power? Because we know you now from this, but what were you doing before Power? I know I saw some stuff that you did with
Yeah.
agriculture,
Yeah.
whereas you do farming, but were you acting before? Were you
Yeah.
teaching? What were you doing before?
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Metro Detroit area. And I've been performing since I was a kid, but mainly musical theater and live stage theater. I toured for a little while in Aladdin the musical, did a show in New York before that, got a degree in musical theater. So this was kind of my first big TV and film thing, but I've been on the stage for a little while before this.
Ooh, nice. And Caesar?
Before acting, I was involved in music. I worked with Raekwon of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Wait, hold up. Wait. You down with the Wu?
Yeah, that was the Wu.
The other Wu, not that Wu. The
Wu-Tang?
other
What's
Wu.
that? What's Wu-Tang?
I'm from Staten Island too. Yeah.
Wait, you're from Staten
I'm from
Island?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Wait, isn't Michael Rainey Jr. from
Yeah,
Staten
he's also
Island
from
too?
Staten Island and Method Man, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously him.
So,
They run it there. They run Staten Island. That's the
Definitely.
only reason why anyone would go to Staten Island, right? But next up.
Yeah, I mean, like Eric said, been performing since I was a kid. My first ever role was Tom Sawyer in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer at a community theater when I was 11.
Oh, that's nice.
And then my first major audition, I performed In Sync, which was I got the role, so that was cool. But I graduated from a acting conservatory in 2011. Since then, it's been like 25 plus commercials and about 10 network television shows.
Okay. And Gustavo.
So I was born and raised in New York. I grew up in Washington Heights.
Whoop, whoop.
And then I moved to Miami for high school and college.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was a cool experience. Best of both worlds. And then I played college basketball in Boca Raton, Florida, which is an hour north of Miami.
Oh,
I was there for 5 years. So I used my height for something.
I know. Well,
right.
come on.
And then when I graduated, I just wanted to try acting. So I just moved back to New York and kind of figured it out. I did a lot of catering work. That's where I met Eric. I actually know Eric
That's right.
from like 2015, I think we
Back in the
met
day.
originally. We used to cater together. So it was amazing being able to do my first TV gig and his as well together. You know, so that was cool.
Wait, so when you say you used to cater, did you cook or were you working
Oh,
for a
sorry.
catering
So we were
company?
like cater waiters essentially.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
serving
okay,
food
gotcha.
and bringing drinks.
What
have
most of us actors do.
Yeah.
You know, before we start booking.
Okay,
acting.
so then before we get into the power questions, I think what I want to convey to everyone else is, you know what? Let's take a break there. right now we are filming after the writer's strike was announced. And I just wanted to know, before we start getting into the nitty-gritty of your characters and what happened on the show, I just wanted to know, like, how is the writer's strike going to affect you going forward?
I mean, it's definitely going to put a delay on everything. Anything original is going to be delayed. So you are potentially looking at a lot of or a lack of opportunities coming up now for the foreseeable future, unless maybe there's something that's already been written and they're kind of working on already. But other than that, it's going to be potentially pretty slow.
100%. I think a lot of people don't realize that not only does the writer write the episode of the season, they're on set while we're filming. They have to edit on the spot, lines and stuff like that. So if there's no writer on set, there's no filming.
And this is why we need to pay our creatives, right? Because without them, we don't get gems like this. So I hope that we are able to get through this strike quickly, because we want Power to come back. We want the shows to come back, and we want people to have work. So I hope that this doesn't last for long. I'm surprised that it had to get to this point where we are, or where people are actually on strike. But hopefully that this is a quick and somewhat painless process, especially for the actors and for the writers as well, all of the creatives involved. But to the Power questions, right? Before you guys were casted, or before you got the job, what was your hiring process like?
Mine was pretty fun. I auditioned originally for international guap in the show. And I read for that.
Which one? The one that had the braids with the fronts?
I don't think so.
Or
he was just recently in there. He gets beat up in a chair. He was in the Dominican Republic.
That was supposed to be in DR.
Yeah. So I had originally auditioned for that.
But then they said you were too pretty.
Yeah.
Right?
They said that they wanted to know if I would like to be considered for the role of Gordo, and kind of sent me all that they could tell me at that point. So it was pretty cool. I was actually in a hotel in Mexico when I got that. So I filmed the audition there, and then
and that's called a self-tape? Or
Yeah. It was a self-tape in a hotel. I mean, I was taking like artwork off the walls, trying to just get like a clean,
as bare as possible.
That's awesome.
Put the camera on your suitcase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're trying to stack on the most random things. There's no tripods. Like, forget it. And sent the tape, and about a week later they offered me the job, and I feel like it was probably like another week after that I was there at the studio in Brooklyn getting started. So it was quick.
What?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay. Excuse us. Caesar, was your process as easy?
No, I wouldn't say it was as easy. So it's pretty cool. I actually played an extra in the original Power, season 1.
Yes.
I was one of the gang members in the Soldados. I was a Soldado.
Multiverse Caesar in the Power universe.
That's why I always tell people, like, just because you died doesn't mean anything. You can come back in another form, because they have so many shows.
But
right?
like I didn't, I was just a background in the original.
Yeah.
And,
but still, look, you back.
I'm back. Somehow I got back. But
don't worry, we're gonna see you in Force next.
Speaking into existence.
Right?
I auditioned about 6-7 times for Ghost, and I auditioned for the original Power. I think season 6. And this is the one we booked.
Look at that, and you made it.
And I made it.
Okay, and then
for me it was like just simple self-tape. But it was interesting to see that in the scenes that they provided for us for the self-tape, it was pretty much a combination of all like the brothers' lines into like 1 or 2 scenes. So like what you see us saying in the actual show might have been like
sent by someone else.
Okay. Yeah. So that was interesting, but otherwise it was simple process filming it. I used my girlfriend at home. She's the one that kind of is my reader all the time, and which is very helpful. And
do you guys fight over the delivery of your lines?
No, because she's not about like the acting life like at all. So
what
she's
does she
just
do?
there for support. She's a project manager for a pharmaceutical
Oh, good.
company.
So she manages you in terms of how you got to get this done. And then is it Mikel or Michelle?
It's Michel.
Michelle.
Yeah. So for me, it was cool. I remember getting it and they gave me to audition for two of them. I think it was his and mine. And then I remember doing it like 1,000 times in my room with my own voice. That's my reader. I record the other person's lines and then leave a gap for my lines.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, well, because most people don't want to read more than like 2-3 times.
Right.
I want to do it a bunch to get it like right.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I'm at catering work where I met Eric, just like doing a shift, and then I get an email like, "You booked Ghost." I was like, "No way!" I flipped out. I was running to everybody like, "Yo, I booked this," and it said it was for 5 episodes. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
Your
pretty.
first job.
For my
Your first job.
That's
Yeah.
That is a big deal.
because I thought it was gonna be like this small little thing. I didn't think it was gonna be this recurring thing. So I was like, on top of the world.
Aw. So then, what was your biggest misconceptions about Power before booking it, and then going on to set, and then actually working there?
What's kind of crazy is I didn't even really know about the TV show before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, cut the interview.
I-
That's it. I'm out of here.
No,
What-
I know.
What do you mean you didn't
I
know? Where were you living?
It's so crazy. But I've talked about this with a couple of other people. I feel like either you know this show or you don't. Like it's kind of like what I mean, there's some people in the middle for sure, but I feel like
No,
when I ask people about it,
You're right.
Yeah.
I think you're really.
Yeah.
I think like I felt that way with the first iteration of Power. So with Power itself,
Yeah.
especially seasons 1 and 2, it was it's something if you know, you know.
Right.
But then by the time season, let's say 3 and 4 rolled around, that's when it started to get where the fandom like really, really took off.
Yeah.
And now, because I'm so consumed by it, it's almost crazy to me that no one has heard of this. Because like my family, they have no clue what this is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what do you do?
Yeah.
So you left your job there to do this. So how is this working out for you? I'm like, listen, like millions of people watch the show.
Yeah.
Like it's a really, really big thing. But I get your point about like if you're in a bubble or if you're not, I guess like enthralled in the culture aspect of it, it flies under the radar sometimes, especially if it's not something that you would normally watch or normally come across, like a drug dealing show where then the son is taking over. Not a lot of people are going to come by that.
Yeah.
But hey, that's a testament to how good the show is and how the way this universe has thrived and all these spin-offs. Like that's
Yeah.
super impressive.
That is still one of
know?
the highest rated shows on premium cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it keeps going.
Yeah.
And
Power never
after
ends.
Power never dies.
Power never ends.
Never dies. So, what about you? Did you have any misconceptions of the show before?
So, like a lot of things I filmed, normally I never saw the show before either. But this is one of the shows I actually did watch. And like I said, I was involved in
From-
just a background role in season 1.
Right.
And I remember being on set. I knew it was going to be something,
Yeah.
even back then. And 50 Cent is my favorite rapper. So, like, I was
Look at that. He's selling out Staten Island for 50.
No, I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Okay.
But I got to work with him on season 2 of the original Power, and yeah, I kind of knew what the show was about, so I was excited to be part of this.
Okay. What was the call like when you got casted as a Castillo brother in contrast to just being an extra before?
Well,
Or was the process simple?
yeah,
because you were
as
already
an
there?
extra, there's no audition process. You just
stand
you
there.
just submit, and it's a background casting thing. They just take a picture of you. You have a picture on a website, and they'll just choose you to be, you fit the look of the whatever they're looking for.
Okay.
But this is way more in depth. People that don't know, since COVID, pretty much all audition processes are self-tapes now. So
Is it still that way now,
Yeah.
considering that way?
Yeah, you might get
Yeah.
a little sprinkle here and there of in person, but for the 95% is you're filming it yourself.
Oh,
That's
okay.
yeah, which could be
Still-
like a love-hate thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hated it at first. Now I like it.
Yeah.
Because you have more control of it, or
You have more control, but you don't get feedback. When you go into a
Oh.
room to audition, the casting director will give you some kind of direction usually.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons on each side of it. Me personally, I love the feeling of meeting a casting director in person
Yeah.
and getting allowing them to see your energy in the room. You know, I think for me, that's a positive, is when they could see the real you right there, you know, in person.
Yeah,
And
100%. Me too. I like that. Um, I I had the privilege to, on season 6, I think it was, of the original Power, meet the casting directors.
Okay.
This is before
What's the name of
COVID.
the casting director?
Christine Chroma is
Okay.
the casting director, and you know, I got to feel that energy and stuff like that. So I think that was a bonus before going into this self-tape world that we're in now.
See, I'm the opposite. I would have thought, well, I guess because you're actors, you probably wouldn't get nervous, but I would be more comfortable taping it myself so that I can, redo it, and I don't have to have the pressure of someone looking at me do it. So even if, like, I'll give myself my own feedback, like, this looks bad or my angles here aren't good, but doing it in front of someone and not necessarily knowing if I'm going to have the opportunity to redo it, I think that would make me a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No?
what's interesting is a lot of times when I do these self tapes, sometimes I will beat one to death like too much, and then what happens
and you
is
get in your head.
it's the first take or two that I really end up choosing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like wasted time to me, I've realized. Like that, the fresher it is, usually the better it is. And when it comes to angles and stuff, I don't really care about that stuff, me personally and all that.
Really?
But yeah,
Even as an actor?
and honestly, the casting directors, they don't care about that either. They're not looking at that. They're focused on your performance and your choices, at the end
I
of the day.
think sometimes we become so critical of ourselves. So I try to just let it go. I try to treat it as if I'm still in the room with the casting director, which normally you're going to get like 2 takes, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually is 1. Sometimes you'll get 2, 3 if they want like something different from you. But I think for actors out there, you have to learn to let it go. Go in there, do your thing. Don't do 100 tapes. I don't know. It doesn't, for me personally,
Yeah.
like I'll start to, like I said, the first couple were probably your best takes anyway,
Okay.
you know?
And you don't want to lose the authenticity of it anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So let me ask you some questions about Power. Now, Eric here, who plays Gordo, when I reviewed that episode of your last episode, it was our episode 6. Sorry, guys. It was episode 6, and I saw you in the kitchen. Wait, was it episode 6 or is it episode 7? It's episode 7. And Gordo is in the kitchen with Monet. And I was like, it's no way he thought he was going to make it out of here alive, because I thought she was going to kill him on the spot. So when you had to deliver those lines, right, what was going through your head? Like, is this it for me? Like, I guess beforehand, right? Because it all happens in that episode.
Yeah.
But I guess the real question is, like, what made you confident enough to say to her, this is what it's going to be? Like, how?
What made Gordo?
Gordo
or me?
No, Gordo confident.
The-
Because Gordo was losing his mind at
Yeah.
this point.
Well, we had a secret that we shared together, and I think that secret is what gave him the leverage to be like, oh no, you can play a bit by my rules, because like I have this piece of information that you also don't want somebody to find out about. You don't want your family to find out about. So I think that leverage is what gave him the confidence. I guess he underestimated the fact that she could then just wipe him out, which is what happened.
Right.
But I think overall it was that secret. It was that little piece of knowledge that he was sitting on that said, oh no, we're even here right now. So let me control this for a little.
See, only your mother, the actress who plays your mother, Luna,
Yeah.
right? Only Evelyn knew the full scope of Monet's wickedness, right? Because she was the only one this is the thing that bothered me about the Castillos, right? No, besides Evelyn, no one asked questions.
Sure. Yeah.
No one said, well, why are you telling me this? Only the mother did. She says, well, I know if you're telling me this, that there must be something else behind it. And I guess now that everyone is able to put the pieces together, just in case you didn't catch on, Monet circumvented Evelyn. She went around Evelyn because Evelyn said, I don't want to lose any of my children. I've already lost my husband. I don't want to get in a war with the Tejadas. That's what she said. But they don't show us this in the show, but I'm guessing, and if this was cut, you can probably tell me. Monet probably texts Gordo and says, I have this information for you. I know who killed your dad, and you can go carry it out like that. Is that what happened? Because they didn't show us that.
Yeah.
I just inferred it because you walk past her on the steps, and that's all we see.
Yeah.
So did something else happen that we didn't see, or we're just supposed to infer it from that interaction?
Correct. There was nothing that we filmed that explained that more that got cut, and that's also kind of how I've taken it. That at some point she just let me know this, and
That's
no
it.
questions asked,
And you just went and did it. You didn't say, well, this guy is Lorenzo. This guy is like my uncle. Why would he kill my father? He was in prison. Did he really order this? Like no one even asked. You just walked up behind him and slit his throat. You didn't say, well, why did you kill my dad? But Drew had a whole conversation with the Russians before he went and killed the Russians.
Sure.
No?
Yeah.
And you guys didn't even... Let me tell y'all why I'm mad. Y'all didn't...
You know we don't write this, right?
I know you don't write it. I know. Listen, you don't have to tell me that, but I have to express my frustration somewhere, right? But no one, because the writers are here, but no one said, hey, Drew, Gordo, right? Because this is why Monet is mad at you in the first place. He was like, why'd you let him go there and do that? You guys have a bond.
Yeah.
Why didn't you stop him from starting a war with the Russians when you know you killed his dad?
It took the heat off of me, and I was like, all right, you know what? I was, just trying to get that focus on someone else at that point. I said, okay. Okay. I asked him if he talked to his family about it.
Listen, we're mad too.
You're mad too?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw, because first off, they're very private with everything. Like, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know most of those Eric scenes we didn't see or know about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
wait, so they don't play, like when you're on set, they don't play what's happening?
No, this show in particular is very private.
Super
very
private.
secret. The only script we get is our scenes, and that's it.
And we only get that maybe a day or two before we film.
Right.
Yeah, a day.
So like if we're doing episode 6, we got episode 6 like 2 days before we filmed. And we don't know what's going to happen in episode 7 until like 2 days before episode 7.
And the only way we find out what's happening in that episode is through the table read that happens
at the table
At
read.
the table
At the
read.
table.
Right, and then
Wait, do they still do table read even though
It's
it's
virtual.
COVID?
Zoom right now.
It's virtual.
Okay.
But then, like, when I saw the things that Eric was doing, I'm mad. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Why would you do that?
Like, why didn't you come talk to us, man?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm your brother.
seriously.
I'm your 6 foot,
Like,
I would have, brother, yo.
Bro, I would have told you slitting his throat is a terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
Terrible.
Terrible idea.
But we never learned that he killed Lorenzo.
Right.
We never know that.
That's a
Right.
Chronicles of Power exclusive, guys.
Yeah.
But they didn't know. So wait, you didn't know?
Well, yeah, on the show we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh. Wait, so that means that
'Cause
your
he
mom
gets-
doesn't know either.
No, because he gets killed by Drew, but we don't know.
And she does say to Monet, you don't even seem to be grieving him. I don't know if you guys saw that scene yet, but she meets up with Monet because she's looking for Gordo. She's looking for her son. She's like, she tries to plead to Monet, like, think of it as a mom. I'm looking for him. I just want to know if he's okay, if he needs my help, something. And Monet doesn't give an inch, not even an inch. She doesn't, no sadness, no nothing. Just, I don't know where he is. And she's the one that set this whole thing into motion. Sometimes I wonder, and you guys can tell me if you think about it in this way too. Do you think that Monet deserves to make it out of this season?
No.
With all of the
Hell no.
with all of look, just I didn't even know that you guys didn't know that he did that.
Oh, and we got killed for it.
And you got killed for it. And that scene when you guys get killed, oh my gosh.
Spoiler alert? What is it?
No, we're fine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I hope you guys have watched the episode by the time this airs because it will be out by the
Okay.
time this airs.
Okay.
It will be out. But that scene, that reminded me of old school Power. So with Drew and Kane not talking, they don't have any speaking lines when it's happening. They're just outside making signals to each other. Everything is very stealth mode. Stealth mode. They put in the gas, bring down the gate. Well, the gate is brought down. I think you bring down the gate, right? You bring down the gate, and then they put the screwdriver in to keep it locked. And that's it. No screaming, no crying, no gunshots, no nothing. Just out. From carbon monoxide poisoning.
No chance to fight back.
No chance to fight back.
So
No
you
signs
like
of a
that.
struggle.
But we didn't like that.
Yeah,
we wanted
You
to shoot
wanted
out.
to you wanted to shoot out.
We wanted to bang out.
At Poppy's funeral.
Okay, did you see the scene before when we got all the handguns? We thinking we going to war with the Tejadas, and then we get
Well, you thought
gassed
you were
or
going
like,
to war with the
To
Russians.
the Russians, yeah.
But
Right.
they had to, but Monet, again. So can I tell y'all, so before this, right? So before I met Berto Cologne, right? I used to have an issue with calling Monet Mary because I couldn't separate her, right? It was hard for me to do it because I loved Mary J. Blige since I was a child. And I know that she's playing a character or whatever the case may be. But after she set up Gordo to kill Poppy, she's been Monet ever since. I can't even call her Mary anymore because there's no way the Mary J. Blige that I love
Right?
would
That's
do-
a good thing. That's
would do something like that because
to her.
for her, right? Because that's how I couldn't get over it. But with the scenes with the Russians, the way how she stops the way how she stops it coming back on you guys is she sacrifices Kai. For you guys, for nothing to come back on you because you didn't stop Drew from killing Pavel, and you guys didn't know. You just went in with your brother because your brother says, okay, you know, my boo said this is what we got to do. And you're like, well, my brother said this is what we got to do, so this is what we're going to do. But I'm actually pretty shocked that you guys didn't know that he did that.
Yeah.
And there's no inclination at all. So then the other question that I have to ask, and then I'll move on to the rest of you guys, is because this is a big topic, the sex scenes. There are a lot of them.
I didn't see those.
I see them every week. And it's a lot of them. And before I say this, I hated Everett for Drew. I thought that you were the best match. I thought that Gordo was the best match for Drew. It's a pity that his mother made you kill his dad because you would have been the best match for him in terms of what that character needed.
Yeah.
Especially what happens with Drew after Gordo dies, because he did have a connection with this person and this person wasn't taking advantage of him, wasn't ashamed to be with him, wasn't hiding him in any way. But Everett had a problem with his family. Drew couldn't necessarily be honest with him about what he does. And wouldn't you say, like, in a relationship, you don't want to hide the person that you're with, right? You want to be comfortable. You want to talk to them. You want to be able to parade them around town.
Yeah.
So I hated that for you, that you had to do that. I wish we could have seen you longer. There's no way when I first met your character on the show that I met you on screen that I was like, oh, he's only going to be here for a few episodes. I thought that they were going to draw this thing out. I thought that...
Us too.
Yeah. I'm like, there's no way they're going to kill him off. I thought Drew was going to have like some real love, especially because Everett is such a dick to him.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I got to use that language, but he was so mean.
Yeah.
He didn't even show up at the funeral, but then I heard...
they did. They
Okay,
cut it.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
then I heard that he did show up at the funeral, but they cut it.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I was there too. They cut mine too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And
I mean,
well, so
Evelyn
was
had a
I.
scene,
Yeah.
Yo, they did the Castillos dirty. I'm sorry. yo.
They really did.
Okay, but so the sex scenes. Let's get back to the sex scenes. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent for a little bit. What is your family saying about these sex scenes?
Oh, please. They like my
Don't please me. You did it. You could have said no. I don't want my nipples out on TV, guys. I don't want him to play with my chest hairs.
He got
But
great
no.
nipples. He got
You
great.
saw that check.
I feel it's like So it's funny when you were asking about like preconceived notions of power, like what I was thinking is that my parents are like the biggest fans of the show. So when I found out that all this stuff was happening, I was like, have you guys ever heard of this? And they're like, are you kidding me?
Oh, wait, so
And
your parents knew about it and you didn't know about it?
yeah.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But and your parents live in DC too, or they're here?
Detroit. So my
Okay.
mom and stepdad live in Detroit, and then my dad and stepmom live in Texas. And individually, they are all four of them are
That's
obsessed
funny.
with the show.
Wow.
And so like
way.
I came to them for the information. So, but
That's-
you know, like come on, you get cast on Power. You know that there's like romantic things happening with somebody. I feel like it's pretty obvious that it's going to happen or it's going to be asked of you. So they knew. I warned them beforehand, but whatever. They've seen my butt before.
That's different. Somebody's touching your butt.
Yeah.
That's different. Well, so then, do you feel like, and everybody can answer this, right? So the scenes with Kane and Effie aired, right? And one of the points that I made, I was like, I want to see if everyone has this much outrage for Kane and Effie. Do you feel like a lot of the outrage that the show is receiving is because it's gay sex scenes or gay love scenes
Yeah,
and it makes people uncomfortable?
of course. 100%. People would rather not see those scenes in exchange for seeing Kane and Effie or Tariq and one of his girls. Like, you know, I think like they would be much like the audience would be much more into seeing those kinds of scenes. I think, however, that it's very intentional, and I think regardless of like what people really want to see, it's like a relationship like Gordo's and Drew's is a reality. It's a possibility, and it exists in the world. So I think the writers, you know, probably and creators anticipated that this isn't going to be everybody's favorite thing to watch, but whether you watch it, whether you fast forward through it, however you interact with it, it puts it into your mind that this is a reality, this is a possibility, and it's not going anywhere. So you can choose to skip it, but you're still thinking about it, and you're still talking about it online, and it's bringing it up. So regardless of how people receive it, I feel pretty cool to have been able to put that out there for people who, you know, this isn't a gay TV show for gay people,
Right.
but it's in there for all people to watch, and I think that that's really important.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if it helps with the story, that should be your only concern when you're watching a show or a film. At the end of the day, if it makes sense for, you know, if people love each other, people love each other. That's it. You know, I think about, I don't know if anybody watched The Last of Us, but they had a very groundbreaking kind of episode, and it was focused on a gay love story. But it was one of the most well-written love stories I've ever seen on television. And that to me is way more important than who the people are that are in it, you know? So if it works with the story, to me, that should be all that matters.
But I think some of the feedback is that a lot of the sex scenes are overkill, not just the gay ones. Not just because I do feel like a lot of the flack that the sex scenes have been getting is because they were Drew, right? Especially because of the tweet that 50 Cent put out where he says, you know, if he has one more of these, he's not gay, but if he has one more, he is going to be gay after all this. And I don't really think that that's how it works, right?
But all that is for views and clicks, you know?
We know.
And engagement.
Like, we already know.
Yeah.
We already know what it's hitting for, but some people don't.
Yeah.
Right. And some
Sure.
people, there's a touch of ignorance with it,
Sure.
right? Like, and we can't be naive about the things that we put out there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, here's what I'll say, and I'll be upfront. When I do the reviews, because I do like a weekly review and recap of each episode, and sex scenes in general, whether it's male on male, female on female, or male and female, whatever, I think that sometimes it can be overdone.
Yeah.
And to your point, if it's not conveying a point and not pushing the story forward, I think that sometimes it can be overkill.
Yeah, you're just going for sex sells.
It's just going for sex sells,
classic trope.
right? So like,
yeah.
like for instance, I'll give you an example. There's a scene with the character Kiki and Brayden, right? And they're banging the headboard. Sorry if I'm doing that in the mic, guys. But they're banging the headboard. And as soon as they're finished, what does Brayden say? He says, I'm just stressed out about Tariq. Like after you just finished having sex, that was your next line? Who thought of
I
that?
seen
Who thought to
some
say
of the comments were like, "Why is he thinking about Tariq?"
why is he thinking about Tariq? Like what? I didn't even know people
jeez.
because like me, I was just like, I know he didn't just say that.
Yeah.
I know I would have been pissed off if I was the girl like under him. Like, wait, so you after that, that's what you want to say? But it's things like that that make me say, okay, we didn't really need that. Like we
Right.
already know that they're dating or that they have something going on because they showed us the scene of them going into a random room in the building, right? So that was my only reason why I asked you. And then I guess my next question is, well, how does your family, how did they respond to it? But then if you're dating, how do they,
Right.
or the person that you're dating, how do they react to you having to do these scenes?
My partner doesn't care. My parents, I don't think, I'm sure it's not like their most favorite thing, but they like the show. Like they were just
So they
happy to
watch it
see
with
me
no
on there.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the sex scenes that like I shot and what they came out like what was put on TV, it wasn't like, they're not that crazy. Like
No.
they're really mild. It's like barely even, you don't even really see us like even pretending to have sex. You're just gonna see like the aftermath
Right,
of it.
just cuddling.
So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. My partner is an actor, so like
So he'll be
yeah,
fine.
exactly,
All right, moving on. Next question.
exactly.
Okay, then so let's get into the fun questions then. A lot of people have passed away in the power world. Is there anyone that besides yourselves?
Yeah.
Don't start.
I'll bring you back. Bring me back. All right.
Besides yourselves, who would you bring back from Power Heaven? Let's start with Michelle.
Well, I mean, I love 50 Cent. I would love to see him. I mean, he was on a couple episodes.
Yeah, they
on
brought him
Ghost.
back.
Kanan,
Think of somebody
yeah.
else.
Somebody else. I don't watch the show that much. I don't know much about the show, but actually, I love Lorenzo. I did bring him back though. I love Lorenzo. I thought he was awesome. They brought him back for a little clip.
For a little clip. And the makeup in that shot was great.
Yeah, they made him look
Crazy.
Yeah.
I guess
okay, so you say Lorenzo. I would love to have Lorenzo back. I was
I'm a
actually
big
really
fan.
sad to see
He was great
him
to work
go.
with.
As
So
a
much fun.
performer, as a
Yeah.
person, I've met him a couple times too. He's so nice and so great. So
I can say I met
do
him
look
too.
forward to. I do look forward to seeing what he's going to be able to accomplish outside of Power. I look forward.
He's
to
on
He
the
has-
new Penguins.
Yes, I was about to
Yeah.
say he's about to be in Gotham City,
Yeah,
guys.
so
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm pumped for
Yeah.
him.
Me too.
And as a person who also didn't really watch much of Power,
So normally I ask that question first, and I should have. Normally I say, "Well, did you like Power? Did you watch it?" But
never really watched it. No. But so
I'm so tempted to cut this interview.
yeah, I know. My
just
mic's
kidding.
already off. I'm just like talking. But meeting Sax, like what a cool, what an awesome like guy and gentleman, and I know how important he is to the show and how much people like
Listen,
him.
Sax has been there since season 1, episode 1.
I can't
That's
believe he
crazy.
lived this long. I'm surprised they had him on
unbelievable.
He
this
should
long.
have died before a lot of people, right? But he has always weaseled his way
Yeah.
out and always been able to like still find his way to be here. But the way how he went out,
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
I know one place will really be missed.
Who?
He was the main reader for the table read. He would be the narrator for the table read.
Really?
And he's a great actor. So yeah, just having him narrate the whole episode was like
That was good.
even in our it was kind of emotional on the table read
Yeah.
when he had to read that.
Yeah, I
scene.
never like met any of these people. Were just on Zoom.
Yeah,
it was like
Zoom,
it was
yeah.
like super emotional. How much they cared about him as a person.
Yeah,
It's
I
really,
mean,
really
he's been
cool.
there forever.
Yeah.
I mean, even watching. So I'll tell you what I did. When Lauren So there's a scene between Lauren and Tariq, which is played by Paige Hurd and Michael Rainey Jr. There's a scene with both of them, and they're like in a bathroom, and Power is powering, where there isn't a female guard that goes into the bathroom with her. They just let her go, and she goes in the bathroom and she says, Tariq, and I'm like, damn, she don't even got a code name for him, nothing, right? But they're in the bathroom, and she lets it slip that Sax is powering. That Sax was the CI. That Sax knew about this all along, and my heart dropped. And I DM'd the actor immediately, like a crying emoji, and I was like, damn, because I knew there's no way he's getting out of this, because he made it from Ghost and Tommy, but there's no way he was gonna make it out of this. Like, it's been too long. It's too much has transpired at this point, and to see him go. Even if you don't watch the show, just with working with him for this one season that you've been in, like you said that you know the impact that he has had thus far, and seeing a character like that go, like an OG of the Power universe go, it's crazy. Especially, I hate when Power and other shows do this too. They make you get attached to someone, because like you get attached to Gordo or like the Castillos, was like, oh, we got other bad people that are willing to ride. And then we get attached to you, and then like a few episodes in, they go. Like, did you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Remember the Hard Home episode? So this is where they first meet the White Walkers. They go to the Thens, and we meet this bomb character, right? She is fighting. She stands up for Jon Snow. And even if you haven't seen the show or know much about the series, like, she's doing all of this advocacy work for someone who is trying to save them, and then she dies. Like, she does all of this, and like, so you made me get emotionally invested in this person, right?
Yeah.
You get me emotionally invested in Drew and Gordo's relationship, because I actually think he's a better fit for Drew, because I can't stand Everett. And then you make him kill his dad, and then he has to get killed.
I think that's what they want, though. I think
Yeah,
they want your emotional
This
attachment.
is exactly what they want.
That's why.
They want to see
how
you
you
feel,
feel,
your hand on your head. That's what they want.
Yep.
So they
I don't
did a
like
good
this.
job.
I just want to have, like, I understand that it's Power, but like, can we have like something good happen? Like, can something good happen? Like, just once?
Yeah.
Right. That's why we should advocate for the prequel of the Castillos.
That's right.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying?
And then we can incorporate Lobos and these
Nice.
right? We can incorporate
And the
Lobos
father.
Yeah.
You do the father, the mom.
and Frank,
That'd be great.
right? And then we'll get more Lorenzo.
Yeah, bring Lorenzo
Right,
back.
bringing Lorenzo back.
Yes, they can still do it, because there was
That'd be
supposed to
awesome.
be. I remember Courtney Kemp saying that there was supposed to be like a prequel for Lobos, so maybe they can incorporate the Castillos there. But then you guys would be younger,
Don't worry.
Listen, we'll
Movie
shave,
magic.
shave his
We'll make it
beard,
work.
you know, clean shaven.
and then you'll be okay.
We'll be
Alrighty.
alright.
So, because you guys haven't seen all of the show, there's some questions that I had that I wanted to ask that I can't really ask.
I've seen it all.
Yeah,
I've seen every episode.
You have.
I sure have.
Ooh, can we do a little quiz?
Ooh, I don't know that we want to do that. Wait, I also didn't get to answer who I'd bring back.
Oh, right, we skipped you.
And now that you brought up this, I feel like I have to, because I was going to take it back to OG Power.
So okay, so give me two people. If
Nice,
you guys
this is
want to go
perfect.
again, then you can. But you can give me two people, because I almost skipped you.
Yeah, no, this
I
is
got
this is
skipped
great,
too,
because
but
I
it's
wanted to.
No, Caesar, I'm gonna come back to you.
So Lobos.
We have a connection, okay? We both love rap, right? And we have a connection. They don't know it yet, but we do. Okay, so who are the two people?
Lobos would be one of them.
Oh my
He was one of my
gosh.
favorite characters
He was-
in the whole series.
He was so wild.
amazing, just
So wild.
amazing. And I also really liked Holly, Tommy's girlfriend Holly.
No,
I
okay,
just like
Caesar,
loved her
what were
being
you
around.
No.
Like Holly.
Yo, when Holly died, I think
Oh.
I had a parade.
Oh, man.
I was so sick of her. Oh my goodness, I was so sick of Holly.
Oh,
but
she was sneaky.
she was the worst. She was the worst,
like
especially when she called Ghost. She whispered.
Ooh,
Ghost.
yeah.
I was like,
uh-huh.
But okay, so who are you? Who would you bring back from Power Heaven?
Bring back Ghost and Angie.
Oh.
Bring them both back.
When Angie was shot, I clapped. I couldn't.
They had to go, but if I had to bring,
I mean, I would bring back Ghost.
definitely Ghost. I mean,
Because Amari.
yeah, his presence is definitely
He's such a
missed
good
in the
actor.
show.
Power.
I don't know what this show would have been without him.
Mm.
And sometimes I feel like, although we give him credit, like I wish he would have gotten the credit from the white from white media, like if the Emmys would have considered him,
Yeah.
or even
Right.
Power as a whole,
Yeah.
because there's no way that this show has been on for this long, has this many spin-offs, has this much of a fan base, and it's just not recognized anywhere.
Yeah, super overlooked.
Have you heard a story on 50 Cent's book, The Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter?
No, tell me.
He goes in depth about this, how he saw him on Next Day Air and loved that character and was like, man, that can be Ghost. So he brought him in for an audition, and apparently he did terrible. His first audition was terrible.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to convince the execs, like, yo, this is the guy, trust me. And then 50 Cent called him. He was like, all right. He like believed in him and brought him in again for the reading, and then nailed it.
Oh, that's
So
dope.
he
'Cause
almost wasn't Ghost.
He almost was, because they were supposed. I remember reading or watching that it was supposed to be Boris Kojo. Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be him, and now I can't see him as Ghost. I think he's too tall.
Hey, another reason why
Don't hate on tall actors.
self-taste might not be the best thing, because he probably doesn't get that other opportunity,
Oh,
True.
to come back and redo, right, his audition.
right.
You know,
No. You're right. You're right. So then, well, we in the beginning of the interview we talked about the writer's strike, and my question for you guys now is, what's next? What are you doing now? What's gonna happen after Ghosts, after Power?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of auditioning right now, or at least trying to. Things I think have definitely slowed down in general, but I really enjoyed doing TV and film work. So just trying to keep this momentum moving forward, and the prequel he's talking about.
Yes. Do you guys hear
We're all
that?
preparing for the prequel.
We're all preparing for the prequel. Okay. Anything else that we should be talking about before we get out of here? Because it's just about our time. No? All right.
I don't
Well,
think so.
that
Yeah.
is it for Chronicles of Power, guys. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thanks for
I
having
mean,
us.
I don't think Monet makes it out of this season, but we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see what happens. You guys didn't reassure me at all. I was hoping that she died. But
We
let's
say
see.
nothing, you know.
No. I know you can't. But you can.
Have you not seen the last episode?
No, it didn't air yet. And that's it.